And it is National Indigenous Peoples Day, and there's now a debate on whether it should be a statutory holiday today. Riley, we're going to kick it off with you. Your thoughts? Should this be a stat holiday?
So my basic thought is yes, but I'm also just really sick of the way that like our conversations about what we need to do in regards to Indigenous people are always like, statues and holidays and when should we lower the flag and when should we raise the flag and like it's all of these really symbolic gestures that like our symbolism is important, but on the day-to-day that doesn't do anything to improve the lives of Indigenous people. And there are dozens of reports with thousands of recommendations of actionable things we could be doing instead that always get pushed away for these debates about like, oh, should I get a day off work? How much education does that really do? All of these things, and I'm just like, it's the bare minimum, I think, you know?
Yeah.
Lowest hanging fruit.
I initially was like, I'm not sure this should be a holiday because I think the people who most maybe need to learn and understand might avoid it and might take it as just another day off work and like go away to the cottage for the weekend. But as I say that, like I'm sort of conflicted because today I can see that all over the city there's all kinds of events happening right now as we speak. And I would love to have myself and my son be there and to be able to enjoy, experience, learn all of the things. And how can I do that? I'm here.
Yeah, well, hey, Tammy on Facebook says, yes, one of those days at least should be a stat. Ceremonies should be broadcast nationwide and various movies and documentaries should be run on the major networks leading up to that day. Give it the same treatment as Remembrance Day so no one can ever say that they didn't know. And Tammy, that's a good point, but even Remembrance Day, it's not a national stat holiday in every province. And I would appreciate I love what you said about symbolism being, you know, it is important. Symbolism is important, but the actionable things that we could do rather than giving it a stat holiday. Sorry, I just wanted to applaud you for that. But I think everyone needs to be on the same page. Like, let's have a stat holiday, but make it nationwide, rather than what they have right now for September 30th, National Indigenous Peoples Day, which is they're letting federal employees get it off.
Is this in Canada?
In Canada, but they're letting each province decide who else gets it off. Just make it across the board.
Yeah, I think the symbolism is important. I'm going to echo all of that. But I do also think there's a bigger question then is for settlers descendants, like whose responsibility is it to then educate yourself and your family, and how do you choose to do that? You can't legislate that. You can't make someone say on a stat, you must sit down and talk to your family and your children. Like some people will actively
But
opt
do you
out
sit down
and
on
barbecue.
Victoria Day and teach everyone about Queen Victoria?
That's not consequential the way that we are in a living, breathing time, that this is of consequence to lives today. And I've been grappling with this not only as a Canadian, but as a parent. And there is a stat holiday we all know of, which is Canada Day. It's certainly become fraught for some people over the last several years, I think necessarily so, because we are having a discussion of what does Canada Day mean? And a lot of people last year, for example, had said, I'm actually going to opt out this year. I've got a lot of thinking to do, and what does Canada becoming a country mean, and are we celebrating that when it simultaneously meant the full-blown oppression of Indigenous peoples? Like, are we celebrating oppression now? And I think some people were grappling with that, and other people were doing the opposite, just digging in, go Canada and all those. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I just know as a parent, I'm trying to do better by me, and I'm certainly trying to do better by my daughter. And last July 1st, Canada Day, we decided to go to an Indigenous march in Toronto. And I thought that was going to be more of a lesson for my daughter, learning about residential schools. This is from the Toronto Fire Council Cultural Center in the city. And there were tens of thousands of us there. And you know what made me the happiest? It was Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. Mostly non-Indigenous people. With who? Children.
Wow.
So if we knew that the day was really going to be spent learning and being allies and stepping aside and listening for once, I would vote for a statutory holiday. I really would.
And part of that learning is about how to talk about it, right? Like even the basics. And I mean basics as in, let's say, for example, Canada Day. You probably don't want to say Happy Canada Day to people who weren't settlers to this land, right? What that means. Happy Canada Day, what is happy about it? That is what? Commemorating what? You know, coming and taking over our land. So even the way you talk about it and how you say happy or congratulations, or I think that even those basic conversations are being skipped, as you said, for the symbolism without understanding what's behind it. And I would like to explore how to even have that conversation. what do we say as settlers to an Indigenous person today? Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, but is it happy? I don't know if we should use the word happy, right? Is it a happy occasion to be marking this day that needs to be marked because of all this history? So I think even on the basic level, we're not even getting there. And maybe we should start with there. How do you say it? And the reason why I'm thinking about this is because it was just Juneteenth in the United States. They did declare it as a holiday. And I saw a video from a black man, and he was like, well, something's weird. I went to the grocery store today, and a white person, so the colonizer, came up to me and said, Happy Juneteenth. It's weird for me to be accepting a Happy Juneteenth about my freedom when the ancestors of the people who was just talking to me are the people who took my freedom away. It's bizarre, right? So I don't think we're even having the basic conversations, and I would love to participate in those. Trial and error, you might get it wrong, but let's do it.